Hello. So, before we get too far down this YouTube track, I wanted to jump on here and explain a little bit about how I got into the industry. I didn't always want to be an actor. When I was young, I was super, super shy. Like, I was the kid who never spoke and didn't even laugh because I didn't want to call attention to myself. But when I was 13, I saw the greatest movie ever made, Jurassic Park. And for about a year and a half, I was pretty convinced I wanted to be a paleontologist. But then I read in an article that you had to have a PhD to lead your own digs and that it was a lot of paperwork. And I didn't like school and I didn't like writing essays. And I realized that I probably wanted to just pretend to be a paleontologist. And once I realized that, it made a lot of sense. I went on my first audition at the Antioch Rivertown Theater, which was Rivertown, I think it was what it was called. But I didn't get the part, but I had so much fun and it unlocked this enjoyment that I didn't know was possible for myself, this pure joy of performance. And so then in high school, I didn't really do much until junior year. I went to what was considered sort of the tech high school of the area. It was a very small town high school. So there wasn't really a drama program. A group of us got together and we formed a drama club and started putting on plays. And that was my first live performance in front of an audience kind of experience. And then from there, I went to college at San Diego State University where I studied theater performance, and that kind of cinched it for me. I knew that I was going to be moving to Los Angeles. I didn't really consider New York, which is interesting, even though I studied theater. I wanted to work in film. That was my dream. As a producer, though, it was a little bit more of a windy path, I guess. In college, there was a professor who invited me to help her with an international theater festival, and it was my first experience sort of producing. I think I was pretty good at it because when I graduated, she connected me to a local theater in Los Angeles, where I became an office administrator and I helped with their summer program, some of their shows. At that time, I also produced a play outside of this theater company for a friend. And it was the first time that I had independently produced something. And it went really well, I think. We were really, really frugal, which is sort of my MO. And we ended up making money off of ticket sales, which is amazing. But then I kind of didn't really think about producing for a little bit. I got married. And then it wasn't until my husband and I moved back to Los Angeles after being in Portland for a little over a year that in 2016, I met up with some friends. They invited me to come film some things in the forest with them. And that kind of kicked off my producing life. My husband and I produced a short film together called Look Up. And it was my first film that I ever produced. And I found that I was good at it. I think a lot of the reason why I wanted to continue producing is when I first moved to Los Angeles in 2010, I was told no for a lot of reasons that weren't really in my control. I was told I was difficult to cast because I was mixed. I was constantly asked what my race was and reduced to a series of factors that seemed to go along with that race. The language that I should be speaking, the skills that I should have, like martial arts, things like that. And so because of all the no's that I received for sort of inherent qualities about myself, it meant a lot to be able to give other artists a yes. Because sometimes I think we kind of just need one person to say yes. It's like that thing I heard about the 4-minute mile where like nobody could break it. And then one year one guy broke it and then like a bunch of people broke it after him. So when it comes to producing, I really care about being able to give artists a yes. And I think that's what's kept me in the game as long as I've been in it. So that's a little bit about me. And as you will see in what I have recounted to you, I did not go to school for film production. So everything that I learned, I taught myself and learned on the sets I was on. I ask a lot of questions. I watch. I'm very observant. When I'm on bigger sets, I'm talking to anybody who will talk to me. That doesn't mean that I don't like go up to people who are busy doing their jobs, but like on downtimes or at lunch, if people want to chat with me. I had the AC break in my trailer once when I was on a bigger set. And so the ADs invited me into their trailer and I got to talk to them and ask them questions. And it was really incredible. So like getting to do things like that is where I've learned a lot. And then I've been lucky to work in support positions, to sign on to sets as a free PA, just to meet people and learn more about this industry. So thank you so much for being here. If you're interested in hearing about the life of a producer who taught herself how to do everything and an actor who's been lucky enough to pay a lot of my bills with acting, then please follow along and subscribe.